review on the first book in a new book series. I say new, but it's new to me. It's been out, this series, for the whole 3 books out for about a year, I think now. And that is the Quarantine series, the first book being The Loners. This is by Lex Thomas, who is actually 2 people, and this is just the pen name they write under. Yeah, the front cover is, I really like, it's like a science lab, and it just looks really sort of just awful is what it looks like. You can tell something bad's happened. You're seeing 2 male figures in the doorway, and this was it just stood out to me, the plot line. I bought it in America, and I've recently just bought the 2nd and 3rd book, which you may be able to see up here. So I will be carrying on reading these books and reviewing each book for you. But first we will start off, of course, with the first book, which is The Loners. So the book starts out with these kids are all in a playground and they're waiting for something to drop. We don't know what, we don't know why, but that is what is essentially happening. And then it sort of goes back in time to before the drop and before this event happened. And it's set in a school, and it follows these 2 boys who are brothers. There's an older brother and then the younger brother. It's his first day of school. They're at school when all of a sudden there's some sort of explosion. They don't know what it is, and all of a sudden the adults and the teachers, they start to sort of keel over, they die, they're throwing up, they're spewing blood. It's just, it sounds horrific, but it's really gripping at the same time. And all these teachers are dying, and some of the older kids who are at the school, but the ones who are in like the first couple of years or aren't due to graduate very soon, they seem to be alright. What this explosion is there was a boy who I think was being tested on or something in a science lab for a virus, or something happened, something got out and this boy is infected, and he manages to escape this place he's in, and he runs to the nearest school, which is David and Will's school, who are the 2 main brothers. And like the army, the military obviously want to sort of quarantine this boy, stop him from getting in the school, and so they shoot at him, and there's this huge explosion at the school, and they essentially lock and shut off all the kids into the school. They don't allow them to escape. They essentially just keep them in the school. This, I must say, if you don't like blood or gore or death or anything violent, this is not the book series for you. This is like The Hunger Games mixed with The Maze Runner, in the sense of there is so much you need to do to survive in this book. The brothers start off by trying to just be the 2 of them and try and survive on their own. They get what they need. They don't want to join a group, because in this school obviously you've got all the different groups. There's the geeks, there's the sluts, there's the varsity guys, which are like the popular guys. And Will and David just think they're just going to get by on their own, and that'll be that. So every now and again, an authority somewhere, they drop into their playground. They call it the drop, and what it is they lower down food supplies, any sort of medical stuff, anything that they'll need in the school, new clothes, things like that. And so at this period of time of the drop, everyone has to fight for survival to get the food and the supplies, and it becomes brutal, and people end up robbing people over the things. People die very early on in this book. Someone gets stabbed in the eye. I mean, it's just very, very brutal, but it seemed completely necessary for the scenario. It felt like this is what they needed to do to survive. So throughout this book we find out that the virus that has escaped only is contagious and thrives in teenagers' bodies, and if anyone younger than a teenager or anyone older than a teenager, like past school and graduation, or an adult, they will become infected and it is deadly to them. But when it's in a teenager and they're living with it, they can be completely fine. But once they hit their graduation date, then that's the virus leaving its body, and they start getting nosebleeds and things like that, and they need to get away from the rest of the children and the teenagers, because otherwise they will die within there. And there is in the entrance where there's a thing set up that they can scan their thumb on their graduation day, and it tells them if the virus has left their body. If it has, they can go through these set of doors and out into the open world, which is what they are all aiming for. So there's one point in the book where one of the girls has been kicked out of a group, and she's testing the scanner to see if she can get out. She's in a complete state, and she's just like really upset, and one of the varsity guys tries to take advantage of her and is essentially going to try and rape her. And David, who is the older brother, he steps forward and he tries to defend the girl, and he like pushes this guy, and he ends up dying. So from this point, all the varsity guys have a vendetta for David, and they want to see him dead. They try to make his life miserable. So this book basically follows David and Will trying to cope with living in the school, and with the hope of one day getting out. They actually end up, when they take in this girl, a group of other kids called the Scraps. They're people that don't really belong to a group. They sort of get together and say, David, we want you to be our leader, and David steps up to the plate, and they become the Loners, hence the title of the book. And so then you see David and Will try and raise the Loners and make them a group and make them survive in the school, getting them more food at the drops and things like that. So the girl Lucy is someone that Will has had a crush on for absolutely ages. But unfortunately, because things never go smoothly, Lucy develops a crush on David, and we have this whole love triangle situation. So that's a storyline within the book. So that's the main premises of the book. I haven't really gone into it too much, but this book is so gripping. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I'm already on the second book, so I'll be putting reviews up for that soon. But I really like this book. I think over on my blog I'm going to be doing a roundup of the 3 books at once, so it might not go up immediately when this video is up. So that's the main premise of the book. If you think you might read it, or you're in the middle of reading it, then I suggest you stop this video now, because the rest of the video may contain spoilers. So if you've read the book and you're just curious to see more of my thoughts on the end of the book, or if you don't really care and just want to know the whole storyline, then keep watching. So during one of the kids' graduations, a boy actually tries to escape, and when he tries to escape, after that there are no more drops. The kids and teenagers are left without food, and they get even more into survival mode, and it becomes real desperate times. David's graduation day comes up, and he knows that his time is limited and he needs to get out if he's going to survive, because if he stays in there, he will die. So you then see him and Will and Lucy and the other Loners try and help him escape, and that was a really interesting turning point. And you do wonder how the rest of the book's going to pan out. If David's not in it, does he escape? Is he just going to die? And this book ends on a huge cliffhanger, because you don't know what's happened to David. You don't know if Lucy and Will are going to get together, because at the end of the book, a group called the Saints, which are basically other children, they come in and try and set all the kids free. And so you just see all these kids come in and you're like, what's going to happen? And then the book cuts off. So it leaves you on a real cliffhanger for the next book, which I like, because I had the second book on hand to read. So overall, I just really enjoyed this book. There's a virus in a school setting was really just new and something I'd not read before, and I found it so gripping. It's like a dystopian, but I don't know if it's as far like set in the future as a dystopian would be, because it's potentially could happen that a virus escapes and they have to quarantine kids. Yeah, so that is just my little review. It's not extremely a review, because I mainly just tell you what the plot line is and see if you might like it. But I found it very interesting to read, very like nothing I've read before. If you do like dystopian or stuff like that, that is it's just a really gripping book, and I'm really interested to see how the second book pans out. So hit that subscribe button if you want to see the 2 other books in the series when I get to reading them and reviewing them. See any of my other videos, and you will stay in the loop when it comes to me uploading new ones. Yeah, I don't think I've ever really said this, but in my head I sort of have a little schedule that I upload a book review and then it's a random video, so it could be a haul, it could be a pin video, it could be anything, it could be a vlog, and then I do another book review. So I always have a book review and then something non-book related and then another book review, so you can kind of sort of estimate what my next video is going to be in a way. Yeah, so I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!